Hey guys, Melvin here. Welcome to the attic. Today we're going to be reading two stories from the RPG Horror Stories subreddit. This first story was posted by user JetsGetsRoos, where a star player is upset by the DM's decision not to align their character's chakras after a heroic dose of space shrooms. Let's check it out. I need to talk to someone about what goes on in my Starfinder game, because it is incredibly annoying. So, just some background info to start off with. I've been playing in the Starfinder group for close to 2 years now. The characters in this group are V, the Isoki mechanic, Ja, the Kasatha soldier, To, the Lashunta envoy, T, our problem player, the Solarian Skittermander, me, the android operative, and the DM. We are basically a group of misfits who got together on a ship by accident. Most of us don't care greatly for each other, but we understand there is strength in numbers and that the others all have valuable skills. It makes sense for us to stick together, especially since we stole a spaceship, fled the planet, and are being chased by a CIS-like organization. We have all been marked as wanted criminals. So basically, we hop from planet to planet, work for anyone who has a job for us, whilst trying to come up with a plan to escape the organization for good. We usually stay out of each other's ways, but work together well when we have to. But sometimes there is a real big issue in our group. T. A flaky person in real life, an internet celebrity in game. You see, he streams all our fights on the web for a small group of his followers. This has resulted in him believing he's the main character in the story. The dude has a real hero complex and gets annoyed when things are not fitting with his view of the world around him. When RPing, he often takes a long time describing what he is doing. From flirting with every female NPC, to elaborate dance scenes while the rest of us are waiting for him to finish so we can talk to a new employer. When any of the other players are doing some RP stuff, he doesn't pay attention and plays on his phone or does something else. Once he actually answered the phone at the table and proceeded to have a long conversation until we asked him to please go do that somewhere else. Oh, by the way, he's the captain of our ship, since he had the highest charisma and we thought this would be an advantage when delegating during starship combat, so we're supposed to listen to him. Anyway, all this is annoying, but manageable. There is one situation, however, where he freaked out at the DM. The party is on a new job, and as a part of the job, we're supposed to investigate a crashed spaceship on a planet that is basically 95% jungle. We land and find out that most of the things growing on this planet are different types of mushrooms. Well, you can guess what happened next. T immediately runs to the nearest bunch and completely ignores the warnings of the more knowledgeable party members and shoves a piece of mushroom in his face. Fails his fortitude save. Has a bad trip, but eventually comes out of it. The DM informs T that because of the mushrooms he consumed, he now has a permanently lowered constitution score. T immediately gets ticked off by this, saying how that isn't fair. And of course he wouldn't have done that if he knew there were going to be negative effects. The DM tells him, sorry dude, if you do weird space mushrooms without proper research, there are going to be consequences. T continues talking about how he only wanted to do shrooms so he could become more enlightened and be closer to his chosen deity, and that is how shrooms work in real life. Side note, T is a hippie, IRL. The rest of the party all agrees with the DM, since this isn't the first time that T wanted to try different drugs in the system. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. T continues saying how mushrooms don't have that effect and how it is unfair of the DM to punish him for his mistakes. At this point, he's pretty angry and loudly exclaiming that the DM is being an a-hole. The DM's only reply, space mushrooms are different, man. Deal with it. We ended the session after that, and we kind of left it on a weird note. Unfortunately, this wasn't the only time T retroactively tried to change his actions. He even went so far as wanting to exchange some of his feats for other ones he thought were more powerful later on, and blamed not knowing the system well enough for the choices he made previously. TLDR, player takes space shrooms and does not want to deal with the consequences. Throws a hissy fit in response. Sounds like that player really settled into their diva role. Hopefully they can find space enlightenment out there in the cosmos. Our second story was posted by user Ergo of Y. They describe a problematic exchange with a human PHB. Looks like we've got another one-player show on our hands. Let's take a look. Pickup game with strangers. 7 players, 1 GM, me. Everyone in the group was a stranger to one another. Only one player is worth mentioning here, and I'll call them Problem Player, or just Problem. In Session 1, Problem Player made a strong first impression by announcing that instead of the human rogue they had planned ahead with me, they wanted to roleplay as a catfolk, and he provided an incredibly sexual character portrait. I deleted it and gave him a portrait that was Francesca Haywood in Cats. Dude had some very encyclopedic knowledge of the edition we were playing. I appreciated him fielding questions for the new players at first, but as the session went on, I noticed that out of the group of 7 of us, this guy was talking 50% of the time. Every single NPC that addressed the group he would answer immediately, including when I directly addressed a different character. Soon, he was answering questions directed at me. Hey, how does this rule work? And dude would start talking before I could respond and go way too into detail. One question from a player was the catalyst of the end of this guy's time with our group in particular. I took this feat. When it says this, does it mean I can do that? While a simple yes would have sufficed, the dude recites the feat text verbatim and starts giving examples of when you can use it. Me. Short answer, yes. Innocent player. Okay, I do that then. Problem player. Yeah, cause this is a situation where that feat works like... Me. Thanks for the explanation, man. I like to try to keep things moving if we could, please. Well, I'm just telling him how the feat works. That's great, thanks for doing that. Next player, what do... Cause it's a confusing feat. I had to read it a few times. Next player, what... Cause if circumstances were like this, it would be totally different. Next player, you are standing... Ooh, you know what? You could use that feat to real good effect in that situation. Hey dude, can you please let the next player take their turn? Why can't she take her turn? Next player, hey, answer me. Why can't she take her turn? We're playing a group game over VoIP, where only one voice can really be understood at a time. I don't see how that's preventing her from taking her turn. Next player, what do... But yeah, as I was saying, this is exactly the situation that feat was made for. Next player, what do you... You can still use it in other ways though. Dude, it is impossible to get through a single round of combat with this crosstalk. But talking doesn't take an action. Please, kindly let the next player go. Hang on, I didn't go. It's not your turn. Next, but I was just talking out of character. I didn't actually go. You will when it's your turn. Next, talking to your party mates doesn't take an action. I'm not saying it does, I'm saying that it's someone else's turn. It's been her turn forever though. So I made a plan to talk to the dude and be like, hey, it's just not working out. But he left the server without saying anything to anyone. Bullet probably dodged. Truly this intellect, an encyclopedic force of player knowledge, has surpassed the necessity of having a group to play role-playing games with. Looks like they figured that out at the end and dipped out. Thank you for joining me in the attic. It's honestly a lot of fun reading these stories with y'all, and a big thank you to the posters for sharing these spectacles of curiosity and cringe. You're the true prestige players. Please give the video a like if you had a good time, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright guys, this is Melvin, in the attic, signing out.